All right, for everyone in the room that doesn't know me, I'm Humphrey Williams. I'm the Budget Committee Chairperson. I'm going to call our meeting to order. I'm going to start with a roll call. Mike, I'm going to start down here with you.
William here. Thompson Doodle.
Danielle Marie. Lisa Beckman.
Larry Brown.
Buddy.
Claudine Burnham. Peg Hurd.
Peg Hurd, yeah, come around. Peg Hurd. So we have a quorum. And for anyone that doesn't know, Claudine Burnham is new. She's our new selectman. So she's a select board rep here for the Budget Committee. If I can have everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, with that in mind, tonight's main agenda is discussion on the school teacher contract. As voted on at our last election in March, this is a follow-up as a result of the default budget and the warrant article to go back and revisit the teacher's contract. So, Becky, doing the presentation?
Yep, can everybody hear me? Earmuffs?
If anyone doesn't have the information, I do have this stuff up here. I mean, I didn't know which.
Okay. All right, so yes, we did go back. Okay, I'm moving back.
All right, sorry.
Okay. So we did go back and meet with the teachers, and to begin with, we really, when we put the contract out there for March, we really felt as though it was a good contract for the teachers. This time, however, they really scaled back. So for 2021, the total request is $87,269.54, which is an estimated tax increase of 18 cents per thousand. We went in March at $170,080.43. They did ask for step movement, and since we're going to be voting on September 8th, primary election, the step movement will be retroactive or go back to the first actual payment in September. So it might be 2 payments that will be back paid. Because people on the top step getting longevity would not get any kind of an increase at all, we added $500 to the longevity amounts, again, retroactive to that first payment in September. The uncontrollable costs out of that $87,000 is $15,778.16. That includes FICA, New Hampshire retirement system, and disability, which is based on salary. The total increase for the teachers. On the steps, we have 14 steps. Anybody who's on step 1 through 13 would move a step. So there are 33 teachers who do move a step, an average of a 4% increase in between the steps. 21 teachers do not move because they're on step 14 or beyond. Of those 21 on step 14, only 17 will actually receive the increase of $500 in longevity because they have to be in the district for 15 years and then on step 14. So if I came into Milton School District, I would automatically go on step 14 because of my experience, but I would not get longevity. Salaries, and then 2 teachers, which this is already in the contract and it's already in the operating budget, they also move lateral tracks. So they earned more credits. They may have gone from a bachelor's to a bachelor's plus 15. They may have gone from that to a master's. But it's a sideways, and that is already in the budget. Salary schedule remains the same because there was no increase. Again, if you look up above, we are pretty low. I know Lisa did some research and let me know that the 25 districts are less than us, and out of 140. Okay, so we still are lower. The towns that are listed above, basically, even though they may not be the same demographic area as Milton, but teachers in Milton could go to one of these schools within commuting distance, and you can just see that the salaries are a lot more. One of the other things, health insurance. It changed from what was called a Cadillac plan or the green plan with school care to a consumer-driven plan, but we retained the caps on our contribution. So a single plan contribution is 10%, but there's a $10,000 cap. Two-person, 20%, and it is a $16,000 cap family, $21,500. We did increase the buyout from 3,000 to 4,000, to keep in line with all of the other district buyouts. And we offered dependent care. They already had a healthcare FSA, and that just goes into a special account so that if they meet, well, the health one, for their out-of-pocket expenses, and dependent care is for children, child care, or other family member care. So if they have an elderly adult in the family or family member. We did add some extra co-curricular stipends. Voice of Democracy has been actually taking place, but it was never paid. There is one position, and the $600 piece is up with all of the other extracurricular activities with the same number of kids and how often they meet. We increased the after-school program and summer school positions from $20 an hour to $25, average 6 to 10 positions per program. Sorry, breathe a little bit. Summer school program, after-school program coordinator from $25 to $30 an hour, one position, and the lead summer school coordinator from $25 to $30, again, one position. Professional development, we agreed to 5 early release days for professional development time, workshops, and with the caveat that the students need to have so many hours by the end of the year. So if we have a lot of snow days, then they agreed to let us take back some of that time so that we can make sure that kids get enough time to go through the summer. New language implemented in the professional growth plan for them, Charlotte Danielson program, and I just know it from Rochester. It's extremely intense. So if there is an issue and they are on an improvement plan, then there will be no step movement. So it's a good thing. 21-22, total request of $94,737.55. Tax impact of 19 cents per thousand. Down again from March, 145,520.74 was our proposal then. This one does include a 1% increase plus the step movement for anybody on step 1 through 13. Uncontrollable costs are $19,203.21. This salary schedule does increase, not much, but it does increase to $33,690.57 with a top of $56,1965. So that is it in a nutshell. You know, they went through an awful lot this spring with remote learning. We're still looking at what we're gonna do come fall, but so I don't know if people have questions.
Open it up to committee to ask any questions. Mike, do you have anything that you want to bring up?
There are some I screwed up, they were trying to, should have wrote something. I will.
Would you like me to start all over again? Okay, good. I need to breathe.
Lisa, questions? Okay.
But I asked mine earlier. If I gave her, I guess, answers of her.
Okay, anything you want to share so we know what they were?
I mean, I was looking at the other teachers in New Hampshire, so I went to, the Department of Education, and it has all the districts listed, there's 149 districts, and I just was trying to see, where we fell, just put it on there, and there was, out of 149, we are 26, there's 25 less than us. And then I looked at how many were below the average, and there are 71, because there are some schools that have outrageous, like, you know, because they're just such, phenomenal schools, whatever they should. And I mean, there are a lot below average, but most of them are, you know, 71 out of 149 below the average. And I did it more just for, just so I could see where we do stand. So we are on the lower end. And then, I mean, I more had questions just about, you know, just understanding because of how we work.
Larry?
Right. Well, one of the questions is what's in the weeds? And what are the small details that may be hammered out between the teachers' administration in terms of work schedules, class sizes, number of additional teachers, which are slightly to the side of the contract, but requirements with masks, other details that will certainly have an impact on will certainly have an impact on the teacher line costs. Beyond that, I would offer the thought that New Hampshire Office of Employment Services, June of last year, the average retail clerk salary in New Hampshire is $24,475. You get that?
Yeah.
Walking into companies.
Yeah. And so your question
Yeah,
is,
just an observation on the costs of teaching, the extraordinary stresses coming in.
okay. I agree.
Buddy, hold on a second. Buddy, do you have anything that you want to ask?
That's fine.
Okay. Maybe that's something.
Yeah, one of the things that is concerning is that we are losing some good teachers because they can go elsewhere and make more money. I know one of the things that came up when we were doing the budget, or presenting our budget, that, and I'm just gonna pull a number out of my head. We had budgeted, say, $100,000 for all the teacher salaries. And we had only spent $75,000 because an experienced teacher leaves, makes more money, and we find lower on the scale teachers at a lower rate. So this number is based on the current teacher population. But we've lost, Nate, do you know how many we've lost this year? I'm gonna say 4 or 5.
Yeah. I was gonna say, four.
Yeah,
Are they, in fact, leaving for pay reasons?
yes.
Or-
So I guess my bigger question and concern would be, I know what it takes to build a budget and the time and effort it takes to put into building the budget. Why I mean, I'm not faulting anyone for not putting the effort and time into it, but now all of a sudden, we found ways to cut even more, so how about this number instead of the number that we had voted on in March? Why wasn't this particular number maybe more scrutinized and brought forward as a stepping stone in March instead of after that?
I'm not sure, I think I'm hearing two different things here. So to try to answer your first question, we do the budget that's proposed to the town in March, starting in October. So when we budget for teacher salary, we budget based on the current employees at that point. By June, July, August, some of them have gone. This is based now on the teachers, current teachers, which should be, at this point when we did this, basically the same as the same population that we budgeted back for March. So does that make any sense that, unlike,
So you still have the same teachers, the same amount of teachers, and now we have a different figure in front of us.
because they made an awful lot of concessions. What we proposed in March, same number of teachers, same, their salary, but they asked for a 2% increase. They asked for a step, and then because they've lost steps, and in order to get longevity, you have to move up the steps to get to step 14. They asked for a step halfway through the year. So there was a lot more involved in the March presentation than what is now being presented. So as I said, they really went back a lot. There is no percent increase this first year, just the step movement. And then we just figured those poor people at the top haven't gotten anything for how long. And so
I understand all of the configurations and what is being asked. Why wasn't this figure brought forward in March? Why is it now a special vote, special thought coming in after the fact?
because
If they were willing to make these sacrifices now, why wasn't it brought forward at town vote beforehand?
in March, as I said, in the very beginning, we really felt as though we presented a good proposal to the town people for the teachers and what they all voted for. When we came back to the table, because one of the warrant articles was if the budget or the CBA is rejected, then we have a special meeting and renegotiate. And that passed. So we had a special meeting, and they went from a 2% increase and basically 1.5 steps to no percent increase and a step. So it was really scaled back, just in the hopes that they get something this time. They haven't had anything for 2 years. So, did that answer your question?
No, but that's fine.
I guess I'm not understanding what you're asking.
That's fine.
Hold on one second, we're not done with it. Just wanted to get.
I think you answered it a little bit. Because I think I heard you say that there was no salary, that the salary didn't change for the first year and there's no percent for the second year. So if that was the case for the first year, is the difference because of what you just mentioned, that what was presented before was included that 2% in the first year and for the second year?
Yes, and that first year, it was one step, like the first pay period in September, and then halfway through the year, and it was like the second pay period in February. They got another step for the rest of the year. So it was like 1.5 steps, just to try to bring them back to where they should be on the salary scale. Did that answer your question, John?
Yeah, it's basically taking that out of the contract, taking out percentage where we find the difference of the 170 down to 87,
Right,
which I think is what Danielle was asking, was basically why we did. And so they didn't get what they first asked for, now they're asking for something less.
a lot less, right, right.
Before I open it up back to the public, I've got a couple on this because it's following in line with what's being discussed now. Prior to this, they've had a step plan in place. Before, correct? I mean, they've had a step plan in place, so if the salaries weren't increasing, the salaries range isn't increasing, they were gonna get step increases this coming year.
No, we're not.
Okay, well, is that because of the default budget?
No, that is because there used to be what is called an evergreen clause that the state had, that if you had a contract that did not pass, you automatically got a step anyway. And that is gone, it's been gone, oh gosh. And,
1981.
okay, I was gonna say, it's been gone for a long time.
So once the contract ended,
There are
there's
no,
no more
there's no
step
step
increases.
movement, right,
so, that makes sense there.
yes,
Laterally.
I'm sorry, what?
Laterally.
Yeah, laterally, as I said, those two people who are moving to lateral tracks,
They could have moved.
that is in the contract that was approved by the town. And if that additional amount of money is already in the operating budget, we had the budget for that.
So keeping in mind with that, how much time is there normally between steps? Now, under this contract, how much time between steps? What, is it once a year? I mean, or is it, in other words, step increases under this contract?
Oh, it would be 2 step increases, one the first year. So if I was on step 5 and this passed, I would be on step 6 the first year. The next year I would move up to step 7.
Okay, so 1 step a year.
Right, right.
That's what I was asking. The reason I brought that up is you talked about them getting a step. And then in February getting a step, I wanted to make sure it wasn't a
Yeah,
situation where
no,
it's 2
no,
steps a year.
it would be, if that was part of this, it would be delineated in.
Now, I am gonna come back to 2 things that happened last year, because I know in March, we'll say January, or actually in that time frame, when you went to the 170,000.
Right.
The original proposal, when we sat last year in November, was 120,000. And that was a decrease at that point, and I'm just gonna bring back to what we had. At that time, it said it was gonna be a 34 cent per 1,000 decrease in taxes. When you went and gave us the presentation for the 170,000, it became an increase. And I remember asking, because that went to 35 cents per 1,000 increase.
It was an arrow.
And that's kind of where I'm gonna come back to. So now that we're at the 85,000, it's going to be a 13% increase. I want to know how it fits in with proposal for the fiscal year 21 budget, that's 2021, lowered the salaries from the previous year. When you guys presented your budget to us, looking, as it went from 600 to 7,000, and I'm just looking at the high school teachers. But the overall proposal for salaries, when you guys presented it to us for the operating budget, not talking about the fall, but for the operating budget, decreased by $80,000 from the previous year, from the 1920. So I'm trying to figure out why you lowered it in the proposal and then come back and ask for $87,000 in an increase because of the contract. I understand the contract part. No. I understand the contract part. I'm not talking about the teachers. I'm asking the question, why was it lowered? And now the contract is going back to about where it was. A little bit above where it was. So that's, I can only go by what you guys gave us, because in 2020, 1920 school year, the budget for just the high school teachers, for instance, I'm only looking at salaries, is $607,621. Okay, I don't expect you to remember the numbers, but it's over 600,000. The proposed budget from you guys was $577,969. So that by itself was almost a $30,000 drop.
Okay, if I can explain, I mean, I
That's
thought I
kind
had,
of what I'm
yes, all
asking.
right.
Okay, so
So, as I tried to say to Danielle, when we make the budget starting in October, we are basing what we are proposing on the teachers at that point, what their salaries all are, okay? So in that first year, when it was 600 and something thousand, we obviously had a couple more expensive teachers in the district. The following year, when we did our proposal and gave you guys figures for salaries, one of those higher paid teachers obviously had left, and we replaced that teacher with somebody lower on the scale.
Mhm.
Does that make sense,
No, I
Dan?
understand that.
Okay.
No, I understand that.
All right, so the problem is, this is totally separate from the actual budget process, because we can say, yes, these are the teachers we have, they're all still on the same step that they were. Based on that, because we don't have a contract and they're not moving, this is what we are proposing salaries. This is saying that we are going to allow them to move up a step so that they actually get an increase, a raise. And what you just said, I mean, that was just one high school. I don't know how to put this. We were down 1 year, 87,000 from the 600 and something to whatever you said, 500 and something. Just for one high school. We are requesting that the teachers existing right now move a step. For them to move the step, we have to quote unquote ask for additional $87,000 to pay for those steps. That amount of money is not in our operating budget that we proposed in March, or the default budget. Okay?
No, I understand. But let me come back, and maybe this will help why I'm asking the question. Because when it gets wrong, when this goes in, it's gonna get added into your new fiscal year. I'm gonna call it fiscal year 20, because 21. I mean, it's your 2021 school year, starting right now. Okay. And I also understand the September piece, because this goes to September rate. So the proposed budget that you presented for just the teacher's salaries was almost 2.4 million. That's the salaries. This is going to get added in on your operating budget if this gets approved. So you're gonna take the 87,000 and it'll get added to the roughly 2.4. So it's going to come back to roughly where you were the previous year. 7,000, it's $7,000 more than where you were the previous year. So I'm just trying to figure out where it's gonna be, because we're gonna be looking at the expenditure of that. But, and I understand Danielle's question, and I know, I do find it a little hard to believe it came down that much, but I understand the teachers want and need a contract. There's no doubt about it, you need a contract, obviously, if they're gonna get it, so. That's what I got for right now. Does anybody else, Mike, you have to jog your memory? Any?
Yeah, so I need some atmosphere. This is the first time I'm meeting Tracy right
Yep.
tonight. But, see, you had mentioned, the teachers left.
Right?
Did they say why they left?
For more money, yes.
How many teachers left? You said what, seven?
Four or five? Four.
And they all left, those would be four. They left four, more money.
Yep.
Now, the retroactive under the 2021, the 87,000. You said that there are retroactive payments, and that whether or not they get the contract? or
No,
if they get
no,
the
no,
contract.
they get nothing if the contract is not
Right,
put
and,
through.
and under extra, circular stipends. You went from, that's a helping increase.
What?
Going from 20 to 25, and then 25 to 30. That's a good, and how did this come about? Who was the school board that looked at this, or was, who came up with this increase?
Based on the work and the workload and not having any increase, I mean, the 20 and the $25 has been in the contract forever and ever. And so it was kind of, okay, let's do a bit of an increase. And I know that when I taught summer school in Rochester, I was paid my hourly rate, which is a lot more than $20 an hour. And that's basically what we kind of agreed to is based on the workload, based on this being the same hourly rate forever and ever and ever, especially with the after-school program, you know, lining up, doing all the kids, making sure the kids get what they want, getting the teachers involved, getting transportation involved. Summer school, again, what kids qualify, what do they need? So there is an awful lot of work involved in both.
Right. But the question was, how did this come about? Who came up the,
What?
who came up with the increase?
It was a mutual agreement,
Between who?
the school board and the
Teachers?
teachers, the negotiating team on, you know, both parties.
Thank
You're welcome.
Yeah, something that Larry kind of pointed out a little bit, but September was kind of up in the air and unknown,
Right?
and the potential of smaller class sizes is a big potential. How are, say that there is going to be smaller class sizes, therefore you need more teachers. How is that going to play into this contract?
Okay, to be perfectly honest with you, Danielle, we are still working on
Oh, absolutely.
exactly what we're gonna be doing.
I'm
It may be,
hypothetically speaking.
I know, but it might be a hybrid, you know, in school and remote. So today you do in school, tomorrow you do remote. So we have not worked out the logistics because, to be perfectly honest, having 25 kids in a classroom and trying to keep them apart from each other, these things on little kids, these things on middle school kids, you know, I'm sorry, I taught middle school. We're gonna be having, you know, stuff up our noses and moving around and everything. So we've not come up with how we're going to actually do it. If it's in class and remote, but it's gonna be twice as much for the teacher because I've got to do my lesson plans for the kids who are here.
But that's not really what I was asking. I was asking more along the lines of if additional staffing needs to be hired in, how are you going to compensate for that difference?
We've not gotten to that point. What we're trying to do is just maintain with the same staff. Okay? No, I hear what you're saying.
It was a hypothetical,
Yeah.
what if, because that could be a huge
Oh, yeah.
factor.
If we had to have 2 teachers for every single classroom, we'd be double what?
That's why I
Yeah,
thought that
yeah,
was-
no, that is not the plan. Thankfully.
I'm gonna open this
Back
up.
in the corner.
What's that?
One last. Break it down to simple math. 10 teachers, $10 a piece, there's $100. Add 10 teachers at $12, that's $120. 20 teachers, $220. 8 teachers at $10, $80. 12 teachers at $14, $140. It's the same $220. If you take 10 teachers at $10, you get $100. You take 10 teachers at $15, you get $150. Your salary cost just went up to $200. The discussion of what will be in smaller classes, the discussion of what associated costs will be coming to the district. The source of income to pay for any associated costs is absolutely not part of the discussion of this teacher.
Correct.
And now add just the last thing, the Israelites decided to leave Egypt because they had to provide more and more of their own straw.
I mean, unrelated to that teacher contract, we really do not know how our default budget is going to provide for all the cleaning supplies, making sure that the kids are safe.
It wasn't the intent of my question.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, we're talking about that contract, and I understand what you just asked, but just as kind of an aside. We don't know what is going to happen, really, so, working on it.
Let's get a comment on this.
The question that Daniel asked is a good question, because I'm sure in every 149 school districts you've got right now in this state are asking that same question. And we don't know.
No, and I want to bring it back because any question right now is just open discussion, so. It is a valid question to find out, think about it, we're gonna be looking forward to what's gonna happen, so. Lynette, you got a question? But I wanna, before I come to you though, there's one behind you, so I'm gonna open this up to the public, so I'm gonna, well, no, she's had her hand up for a while, so I'm gonna
I have my hand up.
come to you. No, earlier you.
No, oh, I'm sorry. I had rotator cuff surgery Monday. I'm
Okay.
so
I
sorry.
wasn't sure if it was that, you were gonna slap on that, or what.
Sorry.
Okay, well, I just know earlier you had done that a couple times, so,
You just saved yourself, you're gonna be labeled troublemaker.
No.
no, that's fine, but then you got.
It's just a simple question. I guess with all these steps and everything, I'd like to know the percentage of teachers per staff. So know the time period, but how this is all gonna be budgeted out. Does that make sense?
No, it does.
I'm sorry.
Well, I can tell you this much,
Can you rephrase the question?
I will, if I can think of it.
Maybe I can help you. When you guys put your book together, you put down who's, all the employees and positions, what they pay. I think what Lynette's asking is, what percentage of teachers are at step 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 14? How many teachers are in each of those levels? That's good information, because if we've got a whole bunch of teachers at step 1, we're starting from the bottom. But if we've got a number of teachers that are currently at step 10, 11, 12, in that range, they're getting to that high season then. So
Yeah,
that's what her question is.
that's what I'm asking.
okay, there
I
are
have it now, because they're
I have a list of it, but I don't have.
21 teachers are already on step 14, so we don't have to worry about them. What's that?
Well, what's the highest?
Out of how many? What that
14.
was down to.
14.
I'm sorry, I was trying to find out someone who has knowledge.
54. All right.
54 total teachers right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're talking. Yeah.
All right, I want to. I mean, I do have that,
I have it here, but it's not in.
I know.
You can see it.
It's like-
It's got-
Right, that's okay, that's okay. I'm not asking for names or anything like
No,
that.
the public information, that might be something, if you send me back just a listing, I could turn around, put that in with our, type of thing, that we've got this many teachers and
Put it in a
they're.
graph or something.
Something
Okay, there's
that-
nobody on step
not
one.
maybe, just, how many teachers at each of the steps would be good?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's already in the green book.
no, I understand it's in the green book, but right now, I'm just,
You have.
I can't take the green book and make it an Excel, something that I'm gonna send out to anybody, so. And, yeah, I understand that.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
I have any other comments from the public? Quiet. Dave, you have anything you want?
Sorry, no.
Buddy, you got something? No, I was pointing at Dave. You have something?
I do want to clarify something, kind of an update. You keep saying 2 teachers are moving laterally, 1 actually left. So
That's
there's
pretty
only
lateral.
one
Okay.
moving
That's
laterally.
laterally right out of town.
Except that really has nothing to do with that request of 87,000, because it's already in the,
I know,
right,
but yeah,
only one
I
teacher.
like having this information.
Okay, 1 teacher, 1 lateral. Okay, 1 teacher, 1 lateral. The other one left.
All right, while we're still on this, and then I'm gonna come back and make sure we don't have any final questions. So the intent here is you guys are going to next have the deliberative session.
Yes.
The deliberative session is when? You know, I know it may not be etched in stone, but what's the,
Do you still
I
have?
know, I've got it on the computer, I'd have to go pull it, I didn't know if you had.
You want a copy?
Yeah, the calendar, thanks.
All right, you did bring one.
So the plan for the deliberative meeting is August 11th. I'm just, because we're broadcasting, I want to make sure that that's clear. I know you guys put that out in the school board as well, but.
Should be at the top almost.
And then the official ballot vote is planned for September 8th. I understand that we got to figure out logistics, depending on what's going to happen, but I just wanted to make sure that was out there. All right, back to the committee. Any further discussion, comments, questions? Mike? Tom? Bonnie, you have anything additional? Larry?
No, thank you.
All right. With that in mind, close out this part of the meeting, but we still have a little more, just a couple things we need to deal with the budget. All right. So, you guys have anything else, Doug? Okay. All right, I think that
We're gonna vote on
Aren't
it?
you supposed to vote on it?
Yeah.
at this point, I'm gonna, we've got two people on the taking sides. We've got brand new people that have been involved in this. Okay? So to ask for a vote, we're gonna need a motion on it and vote. Ending the meeting, but I could have everyone step up.
Right now?
Yeah. No, you guys don't have to. I'm gonna step
Yeah, no.
step out with the committee for just a second.
Is that anything you're going to do?
Larry?
On the basis, are you moving the committee into a non-public session?
I'm not asking for enough, I just want to make sure that they understand what we're doing vote-wise. That's what I'm trying to do. We have not done this with half the committee. I'm asking if that's all right with you.
That is.
Yeah.
Never mind, all right. All right, never mind. Well, again, it wasn't anything that I wanted to get into, you know, as far as an issue or anything. But what we're gonna do is make a motion on, if somebody make the motion on this, is whether or not we're gonna approve it. Down to from our perspective. Okay? So,
I will make a motion that we approve, the teacher contract as presented for the years 2021 and 21-22.
Second for discussion.
all right, for discussion. So it's seconded for discussion. Any discussion from the committee? Correct. Yes. No, what she's saying is just like you've got issues with deliberative session with an operating budget, there's a potential change in
Okay,
the
from
vote.
our, when you say numbers changing, at our deliberative session, we will not be able to change any numbers. Okay, because this is kind of a special election, and according to our attorney, because I asked that same question, and according to our attorney, because of absentee ballots, we have to get those
You know,
ready to go, like 100 days before the actual election, because they need to be out to people. So, pardon? For the other one, we have regular,
We still have to have absentee for all other elections, so I don't understand that. I'm not questioning it, I just don't understand it at all.
We can't do it in November, we have to do it September 8th. That's a national election, that's the law of states. We're able to do it September 8th, because that's the governor's party. It will be absentee ballots. We haven't decided your school in Hamilton are going to meet. You know, the school is going to be a paper ballot, or whatever we need. All needs to be discussed. There will be absentee ballots.
I don't think that wasn't a comment that she asked. She said about numbers potentially changing at the deliberative session and the response. Well, no, that's why the response was, well, we got absentee ballots, so that's not the reason. I'm not saying that's what you meant, but that's what came out, was because we've got absentee ballots and they have to be.
The bigger them written as soon as possible.
So the deliberative session, you guys, it's not gonna be handled like the operating budget.
No.
That's kind of where we're at. That's what we were she was trying to get up, so. All right. Any other discussion? So it's not the same as the operating budget deliberative session. Okay. You see anything? Larry, anything else on the discussion? Trying to.
Thank you, no.
So,
Like that.
Mr. Chairman, do we have to vote on this tonight? We don't have to vote on this.
Yes, you do.
We do?
Yeah, because
Does
this
that
is
be done
the public hearing from them to us, yes. So we're gonna be voting on whether we approve it. And it doesn't, it's up to you how you wanna vote. It's just,
Oh, I know.
we do have to finish the vote.
Can I ask you,
That was actually the only thing I was gonna say out there is,
can I ask you what the dollar amount is?
excuse me,
You mean in the motion,
The dollar amounts.
and each year, dollar amount in that motion? Like 2021, 87?
with Peg's motion,
Yes. So it's the 87,269.54. 2021,
The second rescinded and reoffered.
okay.
thank you, Larry. All right, so Peg, you're gonna rescind your original
I will
motion.
rescind my original
I
and
know
I
that
will,
we're getting, Sherry's doing this remotely.
okay. And I will make a motion to approve the presented teacher contract for 2021 with a total request of $87,269.54. With an estimated tax impact of 18 cents per thousand, and total request of $94,737.55 for the 21-22 year, with an estimated tax impact of 19 cents per thousand.
Do I have a second?
Second,
All right, so we have a motion on the floor and seconded. We call for roll call vote, once I get a couple things written down here, sure. Yeah, sorry, question before. Normally don't do this with the public, but I'm gonna allow for this, yes.
My name is Mary Ann Jones. I'm president of the Open Education Association.
Could you, Mary Ann,
Mary Ann Jones.
okay, I'm gonna write it down there, M-A-R-I-A-N-N, J-N,
Jones, Joane.
okay,
I'm the president of the Milton Education Association. The Milton Education Association bargains our contract with the school board. And what we do, the school board brings the contract to the budget committee for approval, whether they're gonna support it or not support it. So when we budget or when we bargain an agreement, it's an agreement between us and it cannot be changed on the floor of a school district meeting or a deliberative session. We went years ago in front of the Supreme Court on that issue where the town of Milton cut our salary 10% on medical benefits out on the floor, and they had to put it back in. Contracted or collective bargaining agreement cannot be changed on the school district. It's something that we negotiate and they bring forward to other budget parts of the budget for the school board, for other things, supplies, things like that can be changed, but not a collective bargaining agreement.
thank you.
Thank you.
I did not know that, thank you. I just knew that we could change it.
All right, seeing how we have that, is there any further discussion? Seeing none, I'm gonna call for a roll call vote. Mike, starting with you.
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Lisa?
Yes.
Larry?
aye. Yeah, yes.
I got you either way.
Yes.
Yes. And, Buddy?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. So that's All in favor of that? Thank you.
Thank you.
Your first one.
All right, if I could meet with the budget committee separately for a few moments and just to continue our meeting, it's still public for a second, but I mean, you guys are welcome to stay. I just want to make sure that we can all hear me in the last little bit. The business that we have coming up is the water district contacted me a week and a half or so ago now. I heard from Justin Dunn, and they just finished their 2020 budget and want to be able to present to us. I don't know if they're planning on coming to the meeting on the 28th. He hasn't answered back, so if I don't hear from him the next day or so, I want to validate that. But they need to present their budget before they go to a public hearing on it. I also met with the Board of Selectmen on the 13th because I had seen an agenda item about the budget. So I went in and met and was allowed to speak. In talking with it, because they had a calendar set up, we're going to be discussing this further at our July 28th meeting, but just to let you know that the town administrator is in agreement that we shoot for a goal of having a September 19th joint meeting for the Board of Selectmen and the Budget Committee for budget presentations by department heads. So,
Is that confirmed?
no, that's the plan right now. The goal is to try to have it for the 19th. What I asked for and was able to, and I'll talk more in our regular meeting, but what I asked for was, like last year when we had it, we didn't get to ask any real questions. This year, the plan is to open it up for our questions and answers, so that when we meet, and I know Claudia, you were at the meeting, when we meet, hopefully we will have all of those questions answered, but anything that remains open, the plan is to have our answers by the end of September, not have to wait a month or two. Because what I'm really shooting for, and I know, is to try to make sure that we have the town's budget, with the exception of the insurances and things like that we can't control, ready by the end of October. We'd like to be able to turn around and have it ready for public discussions with the department heads, with the Board of Selectmen and the Budget Committee at some kind of meet and greet type of arrangement. I don't want to see us get into another situation where we're meeting 4 or 5, you guys remember those type of days in a week and just struggling with the budget. Hopefully, because he's also planning on having the default budget ready. That was another thing I had asked for, is to have the default budget ready early. Being the fact that I mentioned in that meeting that we have yet to have a town operating budget or even a school operating budget pass in many years if it was over the default budget. So one of the things they says, let's see what we can get back from them and find out if he meets with the department heads, how close they can come or come under that default budget. Certainly going to make it a lot easier to try to get a budget passed. So that was all part of that meeting. It was received pretty well. If you agree with that, Lonnie? So again, he is going to start meeting with the different department heads starting this next week. The plan is I know one of the things I mentioned, he's got at least 4 or 5 department heads right now I know can already handle his budget. So he's going to get those out of the way and then focus the attention on those that can't have the budget. So hopefully the intent is by mid-August, they'll be ready so that when we do meet by September 19th, that'll be following the first September meeting for the Board of Selectmen, that we have the presentations and everything that's all ready to go. The goal is to have the department heads do the presentations if you do, not just the town administrator.
All right, one of the things that I seriously found very frustrating last year was we had the presentation with the department heads and they had, their booklets and their this and their that. And yet when we spent that whole Saturday at the fire station, nobody had this booklet and that person's booklet and all of the information. So I'll be very honest, I felt as though we wasted an awful lot of time that day. So I don't know if, they can make enough copies so that all of us at least have all of the copies of all the departments so that when we get together, we can just say, okay, I mean, I just think of the booklet that Nate puts together. Yes, it's one school department rather than 45 little ones, but it's all right there, and people can just carry it with them, and if there are any questions, you know, you look at the index, no, table of contents, I just call it an index. And it's right there, page 32, page 64. And I really honestly found that Saturday,
It was very frustrating. That's one of the reasons why I met with the, that's why I met with the town administrator and the board of selectmen.
When folks are for school and when you get back to the selectmen and Ernie, what I am always concerned about is what I have called the outliers, which is a phrase the other superintendent used. And I do not care that you had 2,000 reams of paper last year and 2,100 reams of paper this year, and paper is $5 per ream. I want to know what the major drivers of change are and the impact of external forces in this incredible. And I want that to be different.
No, I agree. And like I said, that's the type of thing that I want to be able to discuss just going in, because I completely agree with you, Larry. I want to be able, at our meeting on the 28th, that's why I'm going to give you the heads up. I want us to be able to focus on those types of things that we'd like to get back from them, okay, and present. Because I think I made it pretty clear, you know, Claudine, that was your first meeting, but I mean, I'd like your opinion on what you read from that, because you're a new board of selectmen, but if you could explain, I mean, what did you grasp from what I was trying to get? I mean, what's your expectation from between the board of selectmen and the department?
I think it's important that we're communicating what they're preparing. I don't know, and working together to figure out what that is. And there's a lot of hidden costs too, that I think that might be something we need to, that's not calculated. I think that's what.
Well, I think to come back, Larry, just come back to your comments, so I would address it. I know we don't need to go over every line item, which is kind of coming back to what you're saying. There's a bottom line budget type of information that we're going to need, and have the department heads work within that bottom line budget. I mean, that kind of addressing.
Yeah, I just, I looked over at the wall. Dell.
Yeah.
Does anybody think you're going to have 500 students walking on my lettuce? That's going to be an absolutely uncharted territory for how the lunch program operates and what the impact on federal lunch requirements will be. You know,
Also add, I have seen other schools, because obviously there's some savings with the schools being closed due to COVID. And I think those are other expenses that we need to see how we can reallocate, or savings, reallocate into the new budget. Because if the school's closed, it's not being cleaned, it's not being serviced, it's not whatever. How many thousands of dollars is that for those few months that it was closed, that we can allocate those funds into the future costs of maybe having to do something different for lunch?
That goes for all buildings, and not just that school.
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah, I was just gonna say, even though the school has been closed, we have had students, more special ed, special needs students, who have actually come into the building for lessons with the special ed teachers. So yes, the building has been cleaned. I mean, granted, they're not all over the buildings, but they're separated, so it might be 2 or 3 kids with my teacher in one room, but then, so we have been cleaning all summer. We really have.
Yes, it's not just cleaning, it's
By the way,
whatever
before we go too far,
possible.
we just kind of get off topic.
Yeah.
And I just need to reel it back in. No question about the school, but I was talking about the town budget first, so.
Yeah.
Anyways, like I said, I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Our next meeting is on August 28th, on July 28th. So during that time frame, I'd like you to be thinking about some of the things that we didn't get last year that we need to get this year. Because Peg, I completely concur, it was very frustrating for all of us. Because basically, I think what ended up happening is by the time we started meeting in October, we were almost starting from scratch again because we had no answers.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm not blaming anyone. I want that to be crystal clear. That was also the first time we tried to do the whole, both boards and, both the Board of Selectmen and the Budget Committee. So this year, that's why I gave them a heads up. What we really need is to have them be prepared for us to ask questions, for them to be able to answer to those questions, and whatever is open after that meeting, to have it ready in the next 2 weeks. So when we sit and meet, we've got our answers to the questions we have, so that we're not going to be spinning our wheels for weeks and weeks trying to figure out how to get started. And that because
Yeah, okay, on the planning board, we have to look at the CIPs and recommendations on those.
Yep.
I think the biggest problem we have is no one talks to each other. And what I mean by that is certain organizations in the town, they wait till the last minute, sometimes to get, whatever costs they have, that's ridiculous.
we can't wait. Yeah, we can't be
Well, I
waiting
know
until
that,
that.
but they're already saying they're gonna wait till December.
That's why we're trying. That's why I'm trying to wrangle it now. And Doug, I got you guys here. The earlier we can have things back. I mean, I know you guys struggle too, but the earlier we can have the school stuff, the better off we're going to be too. Because I really truly believe that the best way for us to present a budget and have the people in the town start understanding it is to have it ready before the holidays.
What do you want?
If you can have it to us in October, because last year it was later, but I mean, if you can have it ready in October so that our questions and everything else, I'd like to be able to be ready for the town somehow by the end of October, first part of November. Rather than us waiting there, I mean, realizing obviously that, like I said, insurances and all that stuff that we can't control will be put in. It's just the stuff that we can look at now, assuming we can look at that budget and factor in how we're gonna work, it's better off we're gonna do.
I'll bring it up to the board on the 22nd.
I appreciate that. Like I said, that's why I wanted to make sure we covered it here, because I knew you guys were both gonna be here, so it would be helpful. I know I've got that direction working with, with the town administrator and the Board of Selectmen, so they're gonna start working with the department heads. So I really would like that from you guys as well. I want as much mutual working together as we can have so that this doesn't become just us sitting in a room and scrambling, because that's what I got out of last year too. So that's all I have at this point. Anything else, Mike? So, anything else? Larry, anything else? Okay. All right, then I will take a motion. We'll be adjourned. Have a second.
Somebody make a motion?
Tom made a motion to adjourn. Is Danielle seconded it? All right, meeting is adjourned. Thank you. I should say all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, meeting is adjourned.